Live from the Fox Sports 1380 studio.
You know that I'm a chicken fry.
It's The Tipping Point.
Cold beer on a Friday night.
With Mike Tipton.
A pair of jeans that fit just right.
There it is.
And the radio
on Fox Sports 1380.
Yeah. And you say Shot City. Shot City. Shot City. I'm coming home again.
It is The Tipping Point, Mike Tipton, Fox Sports 1380. Thank you all so much for tuning in to today's show. We're going to start it off a little different than what I normally do. I'll get to the shenanigans. We'll get to all that stuff in just a little bit. But today, I figured I needed to do something that I've kind of stayed away from because it's been a little difficult for myself, for my family. So last week, we got the news around 11 o'clock midnight from my sister Stephanie. She wanted to swing by my house. And anytime that happens, I always expect the worst, right? Because full disclosure, I'm not the most approachable human being. I'm made of wires and I'm a robot. I completely, totally understand that. But my sister stopped by because she had some news that she wanted to tell me, and it couldn't wait. And we found out that, unfortunately, my brother had passed away. He was 46 years old, super tragic. No one would have expected it. I even said to Destiny, I've said to basically everyone in my family that because he's 9 years older than me, I would have thought that I could live to be 90. He would have been 99. Like, he would have outlived me, is the way that I kind of always viewed my brother. He was like a superhero to me. And it was one of those things that kind of, again, like takes you for a loop, and it makes you kind of reevaluate life. And it makes you think about the things that you were lucky to be a part of and the things that you unfortunately missed, right? And I had a difficult time over the last couple of days trying to figure out what I wanted to say, because it wasn't something that, again, like me being the normally emotionless human being that I am, it made me, kind of reevaluate life. It made me feel, and I hate whenever I feel, especially the feelings of sadness. But last night I had a dream that we were, back at my parents' house and we were playing baseball. Normally, whenever I have dreams about my brother, it's about us playing basketball. He's the person that introduced me to basketball. He's the person that kind of got me, into sports. My father was always working. My brother, was there. He basically became like a role model, as I said a little bit earlier. He was like a superhero to me. He was a big, tall dude, and he was the person that I always wanted to emulate. He shaved his head. Whenever I got old enough, I moved out of the house, I started shaving my head. It was just kind of the way that I wanted it to be, and he was always that person that, whenever we played baseball, he was like the power hitter, right? Because again, he was the big, tall dude that was able to do all of the athletic things. He was able to dunk. He was able to hit home runs. He was able to do all those things that I myself wasn't able to do. But it was interesting having that dream of him, us playing baseball in front of a crowd in my parents' yard, because that house doesn't exist anymore. And it kind of made that wave of emotions come over me. I woke up and I knew at that moment that I had to write something down, because I am the worst whenever it comes to thinking and doing words and stuff like that out loud. And as I'm writing down the thoughts and the feelings that I'm having, being overcome with emotion of learning that your brother passed away, of learning, how to navigate through these things, I think about my nieces and nephews. He had 9 kids. I think about my sister-in-law, who has to navigate now, the muddy waters of what she is going to have to deal with, of what has to be the most turbulent time of her life. And I'm overcome with 2 emotions, obviously sadness, but joy in knowing that my brother at that point in time in his life was extremely happy. Whenever we were younger, and this is like the best part about, the way that we grew up, super country, and the stuff that we did. whenever we were younger, we got into a whole bunch of trouble, my brother and I. And I don't want to spend this time, looking for sadness. If you're new to the show, I apologize. The show's normally not this way, but I just had to get these feelings, these emotions off my chest. And hey, I'm the one with the microphone. I have the ability to do these things right now, right? But my brother and I used to get in a lot of trouble whenever we were younger. And the trouble always came with my nephew / cousin, Justin, because yes, my brother was 9 years older than me. Justin is about a year younger than I. So we were able to kind of, grow up together in a sense, with John being the person who was like our mentor, who was that father figure to us. Again, yes, I had my father, but my father worked so much that John basically took on that de facto role as the person that I looked up to the most, as the person that I admired the most. He was always like that safety blanket. You know what I mean? Like whenever you think of Linus, that little blue blanket, right? That's kind of the way that I always looked at my brother. Was he was like that safety valve, that person that I can always, turn to, especially again, navigating the waters of being adopted. He and I had the exact same relationship where our biological mother was a child to our adopted parents. So again, my mother was my sister, his mother was his sister. We can move on from that stuff. But it was nice knowing that you had that relationship with somebody. Whenever I think about my brother, I refuse to think of, bad times. And every family has their bad times. Lord knows I'm responsible for my own share and heartache and regrets and things like that I have. But I think about a lot of the things that we did growing up. And y'all have heard me say some of the dumb stories about, I don't want to say dumb stories because I'm talking about my dad, but some of the weird stories about my father and how he ran over himself with a tractor. Or maybe this is new to some of y'all, but we used to move mobile homes as a kid, and he dropped the wall of a mobile home on his back. That man, again, I refer to my father as Wolverine. But John and I used to get in that old beat-up Chevy C10 pickup truck, and we would tie a heavy metal door to the back of this pickup truck. And we would drive it in our backyard, because we had a really big backyard, to try and level out the land. We needed weight on it, so why not put a bunch of cinder blocks and ourselves on it with John at the steering wheel, just driving around in circles in what has to be arguably the dumbest damn thing that we probably could have done as children. But again, it was a fun time, right? I think of the trips that we took to Cloudcroft, New Mexico. Again, being the adopted kid, my biological mother introduced herself into my life whenever I was 16 years old. It was a very uncomfortable point for me, and my brother took it upon himself to basically evacuate me and my nephew from that area. I don't condone what I'm going to say next to anybody else as an escape route, but that's what my brother and I had to go through. He took us up to Cloudcroft, New Mexico. We rented a cabin. Again, he was 9 years older than I, so he had the ability to rent a cabin. We took just copious amounts of alcohol up there and decided we wanted to play a drinking game with a basketball game. I think it was the Houston Rockets. I can't remember who the other team was, but it was every time there was a rebound, you had to take a drink. Again, I was 16 years old. I don't condone children going out there and doing that stuff. Maybe it explains why my voice is the way that it is, right? So hoarse and beat up by life, was because I went drinking at Cloudcroft at 16 years old with my brother to basically escape the awkwardness of some of the stuff that happened through there. Now, again, whenever I think about those moments, like I hold those moments so deep and so close to the heart, because with full disclosure, whenever my brother moved to San Antonio, again, I was super happy for him, but it wasn't my path to follow him over there. And I know that drove a spike in our relationship. It separated us, it fractured us. And as I got older, it was one of those things where I just, as a stubborn idiot, because anyone can attest, I'm a very stubborn guy. I got no problem admitting that, right? I allowed that spike, that separated us, to become what it became, which was something that was just, so huge, to the point where my brother and I's relationship basically came down to texting one another. And it was always, the happy birthday, Merry Christmas. I got to knock them both out on the same day because his birthday was December 22nd. And that just hit me right now that you have to refer to it in the past tense. I don't think I'm going to be able to do that going forward. But his birthday being December 22nd, I got to knock that out with one hit, right? And then my birthday being February 17th, just 2 months apart, it was like one of those real quick, okay, how we're doing this. And then we got to, message a little bit about my father and his health issues and things of that nature. And that was kind of the crux of our relationship, was just texting. And it always kind of made me sad because I would have dreams of, again, playing basketball with my brother, going out to Shaver Park, going out to Ysleta High School, and playing basketball games out over there. We used to play every Sunday. It didn't matter if it was raining, if it was snowing, or what it was. Every Sunday, except for Mother's Day, we would be out there playing basketball because that was our home. Basketball was the thing that kind of brought my brother and I together. So I'm watching the NBA playoffs over the last couple of days, and I'm sitting there thinking to myself, all the emotions that kind of run into you whenever you're, missing a part of you, whenever it's one of those parts that kind of define who you are as a human being. And I sit there and I keep thinking to myself, like, how much I wanted to be like my brother, even to the point where I got his 1973 Buick Century Coupe that he was no longer using. And I decided, hey, this is going to be my car now. Right. And the memories that it took of he and I, putting that car together. And I just wish that I would have had the forward thinking to have thought to myself, put all that BS to the side. Right. Again, I know, and if you're just tuning into the show, I apologize. This is normally not how I start the show, with me on just some long diatribe talking about emotions and feelings. But I understand my shortcomings as a human being. Again, I'm a very robotic individual. I understand that I'm super logical. Destiny calls me Sheldon Cooper. If it doesn't make sense logically, then I don't pay attention to it, right? I just keep on thinking about that stuff with my brother and like my pride. And it was basically the same thing that happened whenever my mother passed away. I regret, even though I tried to live without having any of those regrets, not being able to say goodbye to my mother. I was living in Alaska at the time. And I remember getting a phone call from my brother and him saying, hey, mom was, put into the hospital. This is kind of what's, going on. And unfortunately, she wasn't able to make it. Full disclosure, at that point in time, I was struggling. Alaska's a very, very expensive place to live. I was, fresh out of the Air Force looking for a job. I hadn't really had my disability check from the VA kick in at that point in time. And my brother said, I've already got you a plane ticket. We're flying you out for the funeral. You're not going to miss that funeral. And that always stuck with me because I remember trying to pay him back and him being like, no, you're not going to, like, no, like, that's what your brother's supposed to do. I remember thinking to myself, it had been so long since we had the relationship that we had in the past. But for him to just that quickly set aside whatever differences that we had and say, this is what your brother's going to do for you, that shows the type of person that he was. And whenever I think about that, I think to myself, man, that's the type of person that I need to be. That's the type of person I wish I could have been. And again, my brother was so much of a mentor to me. And I wish that I had those points where I could have been that human being. I apologize for the emotions that are coming out right now. This is going to play great for a radio audience later on today, right? But the one thing that I would implore those of you out there that can actually listen to this, that are paying attention to, what this weirdo guy with the microphone is saying, the one thing that I would implore to y'all is no longer hold on to those grudges. Don't let those grudges run your life. Kanye West said it best, and I put it out on Facebook the other day because I was in my feelings like Drake. But he said it best. If you admire somebody, you should go ahead and tell them. People never get the flowers while they could still smell them, right? Which means basically we wait until somebody dies to say the good things about them. These are things I wish I could have said to my brother. These are things I probably should have said to my brother, knowing the fact that I had him for 38 years. These are things that probably should have came out at one point in time, but instead I'm the way that I am, and I didn't get to say these things to him. I wish that I could have been better. I know that I probably should have been better. But now that he is gone, and again, that's going to be a hard thing to get used to. Now that he's gone, I understand where I need to get better as a human being. And all of us get to that point, right? Whenever my mother passed away, I said, this is where I need to get better. Now that my brother is gone, this is where I need to get better. Whenever my daughter passed away, this is where I need to be better. And I hope that a lot of you out there don't wait for that day to come for you to say, this is where I need to get better. I hope you're listening to me right now and you say, wow, this dude's going through a lot. Because for me, this is a ton of emotion. This is a ton of an outpouring of emotion. Because once again, I'm a very robotic, made of stones type of individual. So all I would like to say is whatever grudges you have, whatever barriers you have with your family, just bury that at you. It's not worth holding on to the last point in time to where you can no longer say the things that you probably should have said. I don't say goodbye. That's just not what I do. So I will say good night to my brother John. Give mom a kiss for me and play with my little baby. We'll be back. Yeah. Give me a second though.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
All right.
Need some tissues or something?
I'm good now.
Okay.
I appreciate it though. I appreciate the offer. I'm surprised people are actually listening to that. I was like, oh God, with all the shenanigans and BS that I do on my show. Anyone's going to listen. But thank you all for doing that. Those that don't know, this part of the show is not going to be live. This might be podcasted, maybe. We'll see. Sometimes I do that.
Yep.
Oh, that was just something I need to get off my chest, which I'm sure y'all understand. We don't have any shenanigans today, though, with food. I was going to bring some mayonnaise and some Oreos for Andrew to try, just because it was something that I had seen on TV. My dude Gojo tried it. You saw the clip.
Mm-hmm.
What were your thoughts on that clip? Because Gojo, you can tell he liked it.
He was down.
Yeah.
He had the contemplation, was like, yep, that's my jam. We good. And I'm sure he's going to have like a cake made out of it before too long. But his co-host, who I remember what his name was, it was like Ken or Kenji or something like that. Because all you hear is that, Golik is like, yeah, this is great. And they just cut back and Ken's just like, mm-hmm. And Golik goes like, oh no, Kenji.
It's like we might need someone else to do this next try.
We need a backup play caller here. He is not doing well.
So I feel like you and I are going to be on either end of that, right? Like one of us is really going to like it and one of us is going to hate it. And I feel like I'm going to do both. I'm going to hate that I love it and I'm going to love that I hate it.
Yeah, or just hate. Let's just go straight hate. That's okay. I mean, I have a complicated relationship with mayonnaise, I guess. Like I don't dislike it, but I rarely ever do it like just straight.
So you're like the one white guy that doesn't like mayonnaise.
Well, I'll put it into like sauces and things. Like I'll mix it with like sriracha, make something a restaurant in Austin used to do, called ubiquitous sauce. Or I'll put it, use it to as like a base for crema or things like that. But never just like, what I love? Well, I love deviled eggs, but it's mixed in. The mayo is mixed in with it. Like it's not just like I maybe I've just had like 1-2 bad like egg salad sandwiches kind of thing in my life.
I don't think I've ever had an egg salad sandwich. I've had like a fried egg sandwich. I love those sandwiches. Those are amazing.
I mean that's just an egg. Yeah.
Well, I mean egg and mayonnaise, a little bit of bacon.
Okay. I mean, I guess as a topping occasionally, but never just like, I love a spoonful of mayo. Get me through the day.
Nothing like getting myself a nice spoonful of mayonnaise.
Honestly, one of the first times I heard about competitive eaters, like sure, there are all those shows out there where they go and do like the eating challenges, but actual competitive eating is like, okay, first person to finish this tub of mayonnaise wins. And I saw that. It was like on one of the late night shows, and I was just like, oh.
That sounds like a GD nightmare.
He had a special spoon for it. It was like twice the size of a normal spoon. It had a special edge on it for easier consumption.
Ugh.
Yeah. That's how I was like, ugh. So that's how I knew that Mayo and I were going to have a complicated relationship throughout my life.
Well, I'm glad that we've hit that point in your life where you know that you and Mayo have a difficult relationship.
But yes, I have seen Undercover Brother.
It's the person that came to my mind.
The hot sauce.
Caucasian overload. Black
kryptonite.
Destiny's actually starting to gross out. Let's go ahead and get into the second segment here. We'll do that in 3, 2.
Live from the Fox Sports 1380 studio.
Andrew's off the bench, by the way. You can come back into the game.
Remember that game show? It was from Japan, and they did voiceovers here, and they did all these like,
most extreme elimination challenge.
Yeah, most extreme elimination challenge. That show was
Of
great.
course, Andrew would know that.
hey, that show was great.
It's the tipping point.
It was on the old Spike TV.
It was hilarious.
Oh, I used to love Spike TV.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when it
That's
used to be
great.
good.
With Mike Tipton.
The fact that he remembered that though, point Andrew.
That was
There it
great
is.
for him.
Give himself a ding.
He lit up and came off the bench and dunked on everybody.
1, 2, 3, My baby don't mess around because she loves me so, and this I know for sure.
It is the tipping point. My Tipton Fox Sports 1380. Thank y'all so much for tuning in to the show. We appreciate it, whether you're doing that on the iHeartRadio app or if you're doing so via the stream, all the other stuff that we've got going on. As well. Want to give a shout out to my dude Adrian Zamudio, who's tuned in right now. Of course, my guy Stephen Michael Puga. He was giving me a little bit of love for the haircut, for the beard, all that good stuff. We'll talk a little bit about Gentleman's Republic coming up here in just a second as well. However, we entered into the break. We were talking about something because I failed on my end, Andrew. I didn't bring the mayonnaise and the Oreos that I threatened you with last week.
I don't think that counts as a failure. I think that counts as divine providence.
With all the stuff you have subjected me to, this is where you're going to draw. Like, this is a weird place for you to draw that line, man.
Okay.
Because normally it's me that has like the weird moral compass and the weird lines that are drawn. Like how is it you now? Like with all the crap, the Dalgona coffee, the weird Kit Kats, the Oreos with all their stuff, the different drinks and all that nonsense you've made me shove down my gullet. This is where you draw the line with mayonnaise and Oreos.
Because there's been one simple rule that all of those have followed. We are not mixing sweet and savory. This very much does. The idea of a sweet mayo, tell me that doesn't just as a concept make you think like, ooh.
Well, I kind of think like, well, would you consider ketchup sweet? Because it's kind of sweet to me. I know it's got like a base of sugar and stuff in it.
Well, I mean, there's
And
sugar in it,
people-
but it's
people
also got
will
the
mix.
acid in it. It's everything. It's like everything but savory is what I'm going to say.
Okay. So for
You ever had ketchup chips?
no.
They actually do a really good job, and they're super popular in Canada, apparently.
Again, ketchup chips.
Yeah,
Because you're willing to do because it's Canadian, I'm assuming. So if this mayonnaise and Oreos was Canadian, you'd be about it.
Canada has nothing to do with this. There's the fact that they apparently freaking love them up there. It breaks down the flavors because you get the sweet, you get the tangy, you get the the slight acidity of it. So it's like combining like a really kind of like light barbecue chip with a little bit of sweetness and that essentially salt and vinegar. Yeah. There's another popular flavor up there called all dressed, which includes like everything but savory. So yeah, it's the combining of the savory and the sweet where you start getting me.
So whenever I first started doing my podcast, I used to call it the most Canadian-friendly podcast in El Paso because I had like all the Canadian athletes at UTEP always came onto the show for whatever reason. I feel like we can continue doing that, like just like we lead. We don't have anything for ASMR, but just like we lead all of sports radio in ASMR and used to lead all sports radio in Korean baseball organization.
Yep.
I think what we need to do now is just introduce Canadian culture to the city of El Paso because there are a ton of Canadians in this city.
True.
Also want to give a little bit of love to my guy, Tommy Carranza says, "What's up, Tip? I need to clarify this, Tommy. Did you get married? Because I saw like a picture of you and like kissing a woman. I'm assuming like is it an anniversary thing or did you just get married so I can give the proper congratulations?"
You're either congratulating him or outing him right now. That's all I'm saying.
Damn. Especially knowing that we reach millions of people on the Tipping Point with my Tipton Fox.
There are dozens of us. Dozens.
Whenever I first started doing my show, I'd be like, and the tens of people that my voice reaches. So he said, "Yes, sir." So yeah, again, like I asked you a 2-part question. Like, did you get married, or is this like an anniversary? Like, I don't know.
First of all, mind your business, Tip. Second of all,
I'm just trying to give him the proper like, hey man, like congrats on either A, the wedding, or B, well, I guess the wedding could be an anniversary, right? Like, but it doesn't normally work that way.
Got married. He has clarified there.
Okay,
thankfully.
so my guy got married. Congratulations on your nuptials. Hopefully she's not listening to me navigate awkwardly through what I just had to ask you. All you had to do was just say, my guy, I got married. But again, congratulations. Hopefully she is a Dallas Cowboys fan. Or actually, you know what? No, I hope she's not because that's the most toxic relationship anybody can have is with the Dallas Cowboys. Dan Morales saying that he's telling right now. I want to let y'all know about something that's coming up with Dan Morales and the Melcher Belt food truck. I went out there this weekend. I don't know if you saw my TikTok or my Facebook video or any of that, but it was absolutely amazing. Y'all need to go out there, check out Melt Your Belt at the boardwalk at Ricky's. I cannot talk right now. My mouth is salivating from that just divine swine sandwich that I had out there the other day. You need to go out there. I know it's a long drive for you, Andrew, but you need to go out there.
I mean, we made the trek out there for other reasons previous weeks. I think I can figure it out.
Also want to give a shout out to Adrian Zamudio, who's saying basically saying hi from all the people over at the Lee Trevino location of Peter Piper. Hey, I'm good with it, man.
Yeah.
Hey, support the show, like the show, share the page, do all that good stuff. Let's grow the audience. That's ultimately the goal that we're going for right here. So I wanted to play a little bit of audio, and I don't know if you're going to be able to hear the audio, but it's basically about Shaquille O'Neal and Charles Barkley getting themselves into a little bit of a hissy fit.
Ooh, okay.
On live TV. Again, what Inside the NBA is compared to all the other NBA on ESPN studio shows or any of that stuff, that show is an Emmy Award winning staple whenever it comes to basketball pregame, basketball analysis, because you've got some heavy hitters there, right? And I don't just mean in like weight, like Charles Barkley and Shaq being a couple of big fat guys, but I mean in these guys are Hall of Famers. These guys are like the best of the best at what they do. And then you hear right here just the disrespect that Shaquille O'Neal gives Charles Barkley, because he always brings up the one argument, I've got rings and you don't. So I'm going to hope that Andrew can hear this. I know what they say, so let's see.
First of all, Jimmy can get 40 if he puts his mind.
Oh, he can, but I'm saying
with or without Marcus Smart, Jimmy Butler can get 40.
But it's still harder to get it on the defensive play. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Well, he's at that level. He's at that level now where at this point in the game, like D-Wade said, he's saying ain't nobody stopping him. They're focusing on defense.
No, disagree.
Listen.
Hey, but we all like
you don't think it's harder to score
on the defensive player of the year?
You don't think it's harder to score on Dennis Rodman?
You said last week, don't be bragging that you're a great player if somebody can shut you out.
It's hard
Marcus Smart ain't shutting Jimmy Butler out. If Jimmy Butler want to get 40, he going to get 40.
28, not 40.
He going to get 40. If he want to get 40, he can get 40. He's that type of player now.
Well, we all like Jimmy Butler, but playing
don't be contradicting yourself.
No, I'm not contradicting.
You just said don't call yourself a great player.
No, I'm not. No, this is a totally different animal. I'm talking. It's harder to score on the defensive player of the year, fool.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
You better look at my finals against Dikembe Mutombo. No, it ain't. It is not. Jimmy Butler is a great player. If you want to get 40, he can get 40. I don't want to hear that defensive player of the year. I don't even want to hear that. Stop it out of here. Check what I did to Dikembe Mutombo. Call him right now and ask him.
Listen,
Defensive player. Jimmy Butler.
Hold on for a second.
Jimmy Butler has earned my respect. Go ahead and say something.
Listen, Petty White. We ain't talking about you. We're talking about Jimmy Butler.
This is
Jimmy
facts.
Butler playing against the defensive player of the year is
That
a lot
means
harder.
nothing.
Yes,
this
it
is
does.
facts. When you're
Yes,
a
it
great
does.
player, like you said, you get greater. You never got greater at this point in your career. I did. I know what I'm talking about.
No, you were riding on Dwayne and Kobe's coattails.
I got the Finals MVP. Yeah, that's right.
Let me point this out too.
You never got
It was
greater.
easy to ride on other people's coattails.
Call
Call
Dikembe Mutombo. Ask him what I did.
I love just the line. Look here, Petty White.
Yeah, I didn't know the NBA was branching out into the View here.
It was so great to me because like those guys genuinely, like, I don't know if you've seen the clips. They've come to blows like on the basketball.
I'll just say I feel like I've seen this before in previous times, but the live audience was the clear difference there in the background because I've seen them in studio just being like this close to just dropping F-bombs on each other, being like, nope, we done here, you little. Wait, we're on TV. Sorry, I can't say that.
Stephen Michael Puka saying Shaq is always being disrespectful. LMFAO. Dan Morales going on to say that show would be nothing without Ernie Johnson, which I agree with. EJ is the GOAT whenever it comes to that. Tommy Kanansa just cleaning up a little bit here, saying that his wife is a Cowboys fan or he wouldn't have married her, and the Dallas Cowboys even made it into his wedding vows. You know what that means, my guy. We've got to see what the vows were.
Yeah, no, we gotta evaluate that here. But yeah, you're right. Shaq is always being disrespectful here. I wish you could put into the video here the clip of him from Hot Ones where he is eating that wing and just says, Kansas City hot sauce. Kansas City ain't got no hot sauce.
And then
and then it starts coughing. Yeah.
Trying to pretend like it wasn't hurting him too. Like I get it. There's a sense of pride there as big as he is, but come on. Did you see him do the one chip challenge as well?
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, like my guy, like I get it. You're a champion. But this is the thing, right? Whenever you're talking about Jimmy Butler, and I'm sure you have no idea who Jimmy Butler is, but he's one of the stars of the Miami Heat. He's kind of willed this team to where they are right now. For Shaq to be like, this dude can average 40 anytime he wants. On the defensive player of the year, that to me is like, okay, Shaq, like I get what you're saying. Look what I did to Dikembe Mutombo, right?
Mm-hmm.
You also outweighed Dikembe Mutombo by 100 pounds. Like, let's be honest here. Not everyone has Shaq's body. That's really what allowed Shaq to do what Shaq did, which is I'm just going to be bigger than you, and I dare you to stop me.
I'm going to put my hand in your face, and my hand is the size of your face. So,
well, no, my hand is the size of like your entire like upper, quarter.
Exactly. Yeah, I could just put my hand on top of your head and just lift you up like a basketball.
Tommy Kanansa saying that the promise to his wife was to maybe love her as much as he does the Cowboys. Maybe. Ooh. Oh, that's a rough start, my guy.
I hope you had a prenup. All I'm going to
say. I wonder if she sneaks in a maybe there too. I promise to love you. Maybe one.
Yeah,
of these
promise, days. Cherish, have, and hold. Maybe.
Kind of.
Sort of.
Maybe we'll do.
See how I feel about it. We'll review this in 5 years.
Well, I think the last time we did the show, I was talking to you about like my fear because I picked the Celtics, I picked the Warriors to be in the NBA Finals. Both teams were able to advance. Took Boston to Game 7. They were finally able to do it, get rid of Giannis Antetokounmpo. Whenever you can get rid of that team, you've done something great. They are the defending world champions. But to me, it was great, like just watching comments, because I had mentioned this before. Our guy Kit Wren came at me. I was like, do you still think that the NBA Finals have been, or that the NBA playoffs have been boring? I thought about it. I was like, look, yeah, whenever a series goes to a Game 7, it's got to be fun, right? Au contraire, mon frère. Whenever you give me that opening, I will take that opening. Yes, the series with the Boston Celtics was fun to watch. For some of the games, I think they had 2 close games, right? Goes to a Game 7, Boston wins by 25 points. Then I looked at the other 7-game series between the Suns and the Dallas Mavericks, where Luka Doncic, just, if you didn't see any of that, old boy just went off. Devin Booker got up in his face, disrespected him. Luka turned around and was like, okay, if that's how you want to play, we'll play that way. Luka outscored Devin Booker by almost 100 points in the entire series. Grabbed more rebounds than Phoenix's big guy did by about 8 or 9. had more assists than Chris Paul, the future Hall of Famer, and had more steals and blocks than anyone else on the Phoenix Suns team. Luka Doncic dominated that series. I thought they were going to lose. I thought Dallas was going to lose because you always see the great team beat the great player.
Yeah.
Luka tapped into the Michael Jordan thing and said, I am going to dominate this series. I do not care what any of you have to say.
Sheer force of will, we will make this happen.
But I was looking at some of those games, right? 2 of those games were decided by single digits, 7 and 9 respectfully, right? So maybe those are pretty close games. I watched those games. They were closer at the end than what they were during the game, but I digress. A single-point win is a single-point win. I will go off of that. 4 out of the last 5 games were decided by an average of 27.7 points. Those are not fun games to watch. When Game 7 is on the road in Phoenix and Phoenix loses by 33 points, those are not fun games to watch. And this is what I'm talking about. The NBA has changed so much. It's so reliant on the 3. I love, because I'm a short guy. That's the only way short guys can play. I love shooting the 3, right? But to me, these games haven't been fun because of how much the team shoot that damn shot. The Boston Celtics in Game 1 against the Miami Heat, 0 for 19 in the first quarter. You shot 19 three-pointers in the first quarter of a game.
You got to make sure the lid's off at first, my dude.
You live and die by that. Is what that comes down to. Tommy Cananza, again, some house cleaning here, saying that his wife understands his love of the Dallas Cowboys. Also saying that the Mavs are going to take care of Golden State in 7. I don't know about that one, dude. I mean, I've doubted them. I did think that they would beat Utah. I doubted that they would beat Phoenix, so this might be a team of destiny. Who knows? Luka is a different type of dude. I will say that. I'm super excited about this series, not so much the Boston series. Boston tied up the series yesterday, beating Miami in Miami. Miami, again, has the home court advantage. Some more house cleaning here. Stephen Michael Puga saying, when Charles says, you rode Kobe and D. Wade's coattails. I absolutely love that because that's what, like, Charles Barkley has been saying that about Shaq for years now. And you know that's a sore point for Shaq. And you can tell that Charles Barkley has a much thicker skin than Shaq does because Charles Barkley was just trying to talk and then Shaq would get super loud.
Yep.
And like almost at the point of yelling. You can see like it's always Shaq that's getting, hurt by the words of Charles Barkley. It just reminds me of the one time that they almost fought on the basketball court. Like they were throwing legit bombs at one another.
I got to imagine. You can almost see it in his eyes that Shaq in just the back of his mind is thinking, I could eat you. I could just pick you up and swallow you whole. How dare you talk back to me?
Want to give a shout out to our guy, John Carroll, tuning in right now saying, what's up, guys? Not much, my guy. What you got going on? Like, talk to us. Let us know what's going on. This is where I wish we had the phone line. We could just have people chime in. But we also saw the debacle that was whenever one person decided to call the show 97 times. Don't do that. If you've ever listened, don't.
Yeah, don't be that guy.
I mean, you don't even call your mom that much.
No.
My God. Tommy Cananza also saying Luka the Don Doncic and saying also keep doubting them, Tip. I mean, it's not doubt. The Golden State Warriors are a proven commodity. This is a team that made 5 straight Western Conference Finals, 4 straight NBA Finals, and won 3 NBA Finals. They set the record for the most wins in a single season, and then got Kevin Durant. He's left, and they're the ones that are in the Western Conference Finals right now. This is a team with Steph Curry, with Draymond Green, with Klay Thompson. And now they've gotten better, adding Jordan Poole, adding Andrew Wiggins, who isn't the guy that we all thought he was going to be whenever he was in Minnesota. This is a proven commodity. Yes, I like Spencer Dinwiddie. I thought that was a great pickup for the Dallas Mavericks. Luka needs more. And there's no shame in the growing pains. We saw it with Jordan.
Yep.
We saw it with the San Antonio Spurs. We saw it with the Lakers. We've seen this. This is the trend in basketball. If the Dallas Mavericks make it to the NBA Finals and win, it'll be the first time that a team hasn't had those growing pains. That's where I am saying, okay, we have history. We've got 90 years of basketball history saying you have to have these growing pains. LeBron James had it.
Yeah.
He lost to the Spurs in 07, goes and joins Miami. In the first year in Miami, loses to the Dallas Mavericks because he couldn't post up. At 6'8", he was unwilling to post up a 5'11" JJ Barea. We watched LeBron James melt down in front of all of us, unwilling to post up a person he had a full foot of height on, and maybe about 120 pounds too. These are the growing pains that teams need. Luka needs to have these growing pains. I also don't want to doubt him because I think he's going to be one of the greatest basketball players of all time. This kid has been playing professionally, I don't know if you know this or not, since he was 12 years old.
Dang, I did not.
He was the MVP of the second greatest league in basketball, like in the world, the European League. 16, 17, and 18 years old.
Wow.
A 3-time MVP of that league. This dude is the goods. How he slid to be a Dallas Maverick is insane to me because he was picked by the Atlanta Hawks, who traded him away.
Yeah, that was dumb.
Stupid move for a guy that, again, is projected right now. Like, we don't know how injuries are going to be.
Of course, yeah.
But projected to be one of the greatest basketball players that this world has ever seen. He's got the Magic Johnson style with LeBron James' body and the killer instinct of a Michael Jordan, and shoots better than all of them. It is insane that this guy can be that player. I just can't see this team winning at this moment because I've never seen it before.
I mean, if one guy could win all of it, they wouldn't need the other 4 guys on the court.
Tommy Cananza saying, that's a conversation ender. Bring out the rings. That's how I take care of haters. Ask them if they got 5. I hate the rings conversation, even with the Dallas Cowboys. Like, yes, I get it. They've got 5. It's been 5 times that amount of time since they've won one. I was 10. I was 10 the last time they won a championship. Think about that. I'm a fully grown man. I have a kid that's about to be 10. That's how long it's been since the Dallas Cowboys won.
Yeah, that kind of argument anytime here. There's people who are stands of certain firearms, 1911s, they'll often say 2 world wars. We won 2 world wars. And it's like, yes. And what happened since? Literally nothing, my dude.
We're undefeated in world wars, though. Our guy, John Carroll, saying he's working and enjoying the show. Thank you so much for the support. Again, like the show, share the page, do all that stuff. Whenever we come back on the Tipping Point, my Tipton Fox Sports 1380, we're going to talk a little bit about the audacity of Nick Saban. This jerk. Oh, look at us. We're actually doing sports today.
Sports.
Huh. I love the fact that Tommy's wedding vows have the Dallas Cowboys in them.
Yeah.
I promise to love you as much as Jerry Jones loves cocaine. Allegedly.
Mm-hmm.
I'll put that out there for the podcast audience. Oh, I'll get to that, Tommy. I get it because that's also like my conversation, right? I hate fans that are like, oh, the Cowboys haven't won anything, but they don't have a team, right? Or they're like a Raiders fan.
Yeah, if you can't only be a hater.
Yeah. Well, and for me, it's like if you're a Raiders fan, your team hasn't won a Super Bowl since I wasn't even born.
Yeah.
I wasn't even in the womb at that point in time. 1983, January of 1980. I was born in February of 1984. I wasn't even a thought. I was swimming around in a sack. That's where I was. Maybe. I don't know how it takes to replenish those things.
We're getting very anatomical here.
I mean, isn't that what people come to the show for? For the
God, I hope not.
Anatomically correct things that we say all the time. All right, let's get ready for the final segment here. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Let's get her done in 3, 2.
Live from the Fox Sports 1380 studio.
Life is like a hurricane here in Duckburg. Race cars, lasers, airplanes. It's a Duckburg.
It's the tipping point.
Might solve a mystery or rewrite history. DuckTales, woo. Every day they're out there making
Sports
with Mike Tipton.
This is the Tipping Point, my Tipton Fox Sports 1380. Thank you all so much for tuning into the show. Don't forget, we are brought to you by 3 Missions Brewery. Go ahead and check them out at 10179 Socorro Road. There's a new beer that they're debuting this week that talks about my relationship with the Dallas Cowboys. It's called La Toxica.
Huh.
Right? It is a cucumber lime kolsch, which I don't know how to pronounce that, or kolsch, Kolsch.
Yeah, no, there's some Eastern European
Yes.
inflection there.
But once you get a taste, and I will attest to this because I got a little sample of it. Once you get a taste, you'll never want to let it go. It is absolutely amazing. That's what makes it toxic. It just hurts you the entire time. It's like the Dallas Cowboys. I hate that I love that team. I'm sure that they hate that I love them as well.
Probably.
But that's just what it is. We have a comment on Twitch saying, hello, guys. Hey, how's it going? Give us your comments on whatever the hell you want to talk about. Just know that if you come at us with a flamethrower, I've got one too. So I got no problems, going back at a hater. But back to Three Missions Brewery, because this is what we're talking about at this moment. Wednesday, May 25th, our friend Texas Terry is back with Pints and Paints starting at 6:30. Get your tickets today. Also, June, Alzheimer's and Brain Awareness Month. Our friends over at Three Missions Brewery for the entire month of June will be hosting a fundraiser for us where a portion of every single thing sold at Three Missions Brewery will come to the Alzheimer's Association as a benefit, as a fundraiser. So thank you to our friends over at Three Missions Brewery. For more information, check them out, threemissionsbrewery.com, or follow them on social media at Three Missions Brewery. Andrew, you can also attest to this. I got cleaned up. I'm looking nice and sexy.
Yep.
Because that's what I do best.
I mean, as always, just more so.
Oh, yeah. It's just what I do best. But yesterday I stopped at the Gentleman's Republic. I got my hair, my beard trimmed, all that good stuff. I even tried the Gentleman's Republic bourbon and coffee.
Ooh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know I love bourbon. I normally just sip it. I drink it straight, maybe get an old fashioned, right?
Yeah.
Like I think that's my view of everything. Absolutely blew my mind. But they also have old fashions there.
Mm-hmm.
So now I feel like I'm going to be a raging alcoholic every time I go to Gentleman's Republic to go get lined up, to go get, my hair trimmed, all that good stuff. They even gave me products because, might be a little thin up top. It's not coming in the way that I wanted it to, grow and do all that. They gave me products to help me out with the hair loss.
Mm-hmm.
Mine is caused because I'm an idiot that decided I wanted to shave my head for God knows how long and caused a whole ton of damage. Getting a scan likely call right now.
Yeah, those are coming up. Yeah.
I wonder if I'll get to that in a little bit. Scam likely. Thank you. But I can't wait to go back. I can't wait to try them out. I know you've been there as well. Like I saw your post and you're still looking good. That's been a couple of weeks.
Yep. Got my next one coming up here. Just keep it clean. But yep, that's a place I go to. And I've been trying out their new red beer mix actually here, because that's something else. It's red beer season, of course, as soon as those temperatures start hitting up here. Yeah, they got a good one there.
I've never had a red beer. I promised that I would try it the next time that I go in.
Yep.
So maybe you all go, you try it, you let me know what that red beer is like. I'm not a fan of red beers, but I have a feeling that they might sway me, or maybe it just might be the way that the whole place feels. It's got a great feel to it.
Oh, yeah.
So go check them out. Gentleman's Republic at 1712 North Mesa, 1712 North Mesa. Get spoiled like the king you are. They've got their packages. Father's Day is coming up.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a very female-heavy audience. You got that man in your life, spoil him for Father's Day. Gentleman's Republic, and maybe, just maybe, one day, the man in your life, or even you, will look as good as I do. One day.
You can hope.
Maybe. Yeah, you always got hopes. So I don't know if you heard what was going on, Andrew, with Nick Saban.
It had gotten just to my notice here. I don't usually focus on sports here, but this was enough of a kerfuffle already. Well,
for me, it's almost like, how could you? The lack of self-awareness, right? To be like, we have never once paid any of our players. We're doing everything the right way. For him to come out and basically lie to everyone's face that way and be like, I hate the NIL because it doesn't give us a level playing field, because Texas A&M is out here buying players. What the hell were you doing for the last decade and a half? Because nobody in their right mind wanted to go to Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Nick Saban, come on, my dude, look in the mirror,
right,
and kind of figure out what's going on here. But then Jimbo Fisher, head coach of Texas A&M, who was the target along with Deion Sanders, believe it or not, because Grambling or Jackson State, where Deion Sanders is a head coach at now, got the best quarterback prospect. He may or may not have an NIL deal that pays him about $1 million, But again, if that's the way that you want it to be, if you're the NCAA tournament and you base or an NCAA tournament, but the NCAA, and you said you all have a free run at all of these players here, this is what it was going to become. This is what it was going to become, was a wild, wild west.
Yep.
Jimbo Fisher, though, comes out on behalf of Texas A&M, eviscerates Nick Saban, but then says this: look into how God, referring to Nick Saban, got his deals done. Ask anybody that coached for him. My guy, if you're going to open up that Pandora's box.
Yeah. I mean, it's been an open secret for years.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, you're the number 1 pick. Good job. Hey, how'd you get that new Escalade? Don't worry about it.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? Is like, it was never hidden.
No,
it's never been this thing that nobody knew about.
It was just, if you got too egregious that you got like, okay, like I have to then call you out on it now. Like the authorities very clearly were wanting to turn as much of a blind eye as possible, punish the most egregious ones, but occasionally just be like, dude, seriously? This guy lives in a new house now and you were expecting us to not notice this?
Well, and that's the thing that like I wondered about aloud whenever the announcement was made for Texas and Oklahoma to join the SEC. Well, now they're going to be in the Premier Conference, right? And I said this time and time again. Would you rather go to Tuscaloosa, Oklahoma, or Tuscaloosa, Alabama?
Neither, but yes.
Or Austin?
Mm-hmm.
Who's got deeper pockets? I guarantee you the University of Texas, those NIL deals that they're going to be handing out to people now that it could be out in the open? Come on. There's no way in hell other schools, like it's already been one of those like, okay, well, we can't do this out in the open, but we know who the haves and have-nots are.
Mm-hmm.
The Super League concept is probably going to be right around the corner, right? Because the SEC is going to be that conference. If you got Alabama, LSU, who spends a lot of money as well, Texas A&M, obviously, look at who their donors are, giving out all this money. Oklahoma, look at their donor fan base.
Mm-hmm.
Texas. You have all of those in a conference now, along with Florida, who has a whole bunch of money as well. This is what you asked for, NCAA. All we asked for as fans, some of us, was create like a stipend to help out these players.
Yeah.
Not let it be the wild, wild west of, hey, you can get these NIL deals. I love seeing these college athletes on TikTok that have, 10 million viewers and 10 million followers and like 100 million likes. I know they're getting their money. Why couldn't the NCAA just make a little bit of a like, hey, here's a stipend for y'all. There's something to help y'all out. Because now that level playing field that everyone was hoping the NIL would give them, no.
No, that was never going to happen.
No. Again, who's going to compete with the money at Texas? Jerry Jones is a donor to Arkansas.
Huh.
That's where he graduated. That's where he played.
Interesting.
Was Arkansas. He was the person that got Darren McFadden to Arkansas and eventually into the NFL. Before NIL. Yep. Now he can just be the wild, wild west. That's what the salary cap is for, to protect not the NFL players, to protect the NFL from Jerry Jones and his bank account.
Mm-hmm.
Because if it was just a wide open, no salary cap, do you think the Dallas Cowboys would have gone this long without winning a championship? They would sign everybody because he's got the ability to do so. The NCAA should have had a salary cap on this because it's going to get ugly. And I can't wait to watch all this.
Yeah. I mean, I get that incremental change was going to be difficult, but there's a difference between incremental change and just saying, open the floodgates, screw it.
Some more of the house cleaning here. Our guy, Tommy Carranza, saying that I nailed the Trump impersonation. Look, it's something I've been working on for a very, very long time. I'm good with words. Stephen Michael Pugo saying there's a Philly sports radio host who played for Saban when he was at Michigan State, calls him Nick Saban.
Oof.
I mean, that tells you that's one of your players. That's one of your former players out here doing this. Tommy Cananza also saying Alabama, if you don't like it, pay the guys. They probably have more money than most schools anyway. Again, like you have to think about the donor fan base, right? Texas, what's in Texas? Ton of oil. I don't know if that's going to be necessarily the same in Alabama.
No, that's true, but I guess the formalization of it, because it's always, again, that open secret that, okay, even if the school can't do anything, the donors are going to, wine, dine. Oh, yeah, you can stay in my penthouse. In fact, here, have a key for it. Don't even worry about it. We don't have to drop a rent contract or anything. I mean, all that real shady stuff that is then the exploitation nature of it as well. It's like, well, I've given you this and you can't tell anyone about it, so now I need this from you. Kind of stuff here got weird. It was always problematic.
I think what we need to do is like find a way, like we need to rig the lottery to where we win it, and then we'll just like start paying out like $1.5 million to like kids that just come to UTEP.
I mean, has been what it takes.
Well, because I've been saying for a long time, like I understand, how all this stuff works, right? I'm not an idiot. I've always felt UTEP, let's start bending some rules.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you can just go out there and egregiously do it, why not say, you know what? El Paso costs a living better than everyone else for now. We've got, all these car dealerships. Let's work out a deal with Charlie Clark. I'm not saying they're doing, I'm just saying hypothetically, Charlie Clark, whoever.
Schmarley Mark.
Yeah, there we go. Schmarley Mark. Chorale. Ooh, I probably shouldn't have said that. So you saw it work in my mind right now. Whoops. Anyway, we'll edit that out maybe. But why not? Like, you have the ability to now. Start doing it. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to compete with anybody. I honestly think you're not going to be able to compete with the SEC anyway.
Yeah, the UTEP offensive line brought to you by the El Paso Auto Owner Group.
Oh, I like that. UTEP, we gave it to you. Run with the ball now. We're not even asking. Well, maybe we should ask for a little bit of kickback.
Yeah, royalties. Yeah.
Yeah, royalties, 80-20 my way, right?
Sure.
That's the show, everybody. Hope you don't mind what we just talked about. UTEP, get on it now. We'll see y'all next week. Dude, that would be fantastic. Could you imagine?